Admiral June Kim stood at the large window of Earth Defense Station Alpha, looking out at the stars. His face was calm, but his eyes showed worry. The radar screen behind him beeped loudly. "Admiral, we have many ships entering our solar system," said Officer Han, his voice shaking. June turned quickly. "How many?" "Over 200 large vessels, sir. They just appeared near Jupiter." The room went quiet. Earth had made contact with other planets before, but never like this. Never so many. Ships at once. "Call Dr. Park," June said. "We need our best people now." Dr. Hannah Park was working late in her lab when the call came. As Earth's top expert in alien languages, she knew this day might come. She grabbed her special tablet and rushed to the command center. When she arrived, Admiral Kim was talking to Captain Dae Lee on the main screen. "Captain, take your ship to the edge of Mars orbit," June ordered. "Do not fire unless I say so." Captain Dae nodded. His ship, the Brave Tiger, was Earth's best warship. But even he looked worried about facing so many alien vessels. Hannah spoke. "Up. Admiral, we should try to talk to them first." "That's why you're here, Doctor," June said. "They're sending a message now." The main screen changed. A tall figure appeared. It had gray skin, 4 eyes, and wore golden armor. The alien spoke in a deep voice that the computer quickly translated. "People of Earth. I am Regent Vorax of the Galactic Hegemony. Your planet is now under our control. You will submit to us or face total destruction." Hannah stepped forward. "This is Dr. Hannah Park of Earth. We welcome peaceful contact with all space-traveling races. May we discuss this further?" The alien looked surprised that they could understand him. "There is nothing to discuss. The hegemony rules over 1,000 star systems. You are small and weak. You have one Earth day to decide. Join us or die." The screen went dark. "Well, that was not friendly," Hannah said. Admiral June turned to his team. "Call all Earth leaders for an emergency meeting. Now." 2 hours later, June and Hannah sat in the World Council chamber with leaders from all major nations. The room was filled with fear and anger. "We cannot fight them," said one leader. "You saw how many ships they have." "We will not become slaves," shouted another. President Wu raised her hand for quiet. "Admiral Kim, what are our defense options?" June stood up. "Our ships are good, but we are outnumbered. If we fight directly, we will lose." "So we give up?" someone asked. "No," said Hannah. "I've been studying their message. There's something interesting." She showed some data on the main screen. "Their language has gaps. They understand power and control, but concepts like cooperation and mutual benefit seem missing." "How does this help us?" President Wu asked. "It tells us about their culture. They only understand winning or losing. But humans are different. We can pretend to lose while planning to win later." Admiral June nodded slowly. "A false surrender. Make them think we're no threat." "Exactly," said Hannah. "And while they think we've given up, we learn about them. Find their weak points." Captain Dae, joining by video from his ship, spoke up. "My scans show their technology is advanced, but not as much as I expected. Their ships leak energy in the beta spectrum. We could use that." The room filled with quiet talk as people considered this plan. President Wu looked troubled. "How do we know they won't just destroy us anyway?" "From their words, they want subjects, not dead planets," Hannah explained. The regent mentioned joining them. "They want our resources and maybe our people as workers." "I don't like this," said one general. "Surrender, even a fake one, feels wrong." June looked at him. "I understand, but sometimes the best attack comes after a step back." While the leaders talked, Hannah asked to speak privately with Captain Dae through a secure line. "Captain, have you seen other ships near the alien fleet? Smaller ones?" Dae looked surprised. "Yes, actually. Small transport ships with different designs. Why?" "I think those are from other planets they've conquered. If we could contact them, we might find allies," Dae finished. "Good thinking, Doctor." The next morning, Admiral June and Dr. Hannah prepared to meet with Regent Vorax. The alien had agreed to talk in person on a neutral space station between Earth and Mars. "Remember the plan. June told Hana as their shuttle approached the meeting point. We act humble but watch everything. I'll focus on their language and behavior, she said. You watch their technology. When they entered the station, 6 tall aliens in armor waited. Regent Vorax stood in front looking down at the humans with all 4 eyes. You have decided? He asked. June bowed his head slightly. Earth will join the hegemony. Vorax made a sound like a laugh. Wise choice. Your planet has surprised us. Your technology is more advanced than we expected for such a young race. Hana noticed how he said this, like he was speaking to children. She smiled politely. We are eager to learn from the great hegemony. Good. We will establish bases on your planet and moon. Your governments will continue under our supervision. Your military will be reduced. As Vorax spoke, Hana carefully studied his facial movements and the way the other aliens reacted. She noticed how they seemed nervous when humans asked questions about their homeworld. After the meeting, as they returned to Earth, June looked grim. This is only the beginning of a hard time for Earth. Hana nodded. But I learned much already. Did you see how they reacted when I asked about their planet's location? They're hiding something. I noticed their weapons, June said. Advanced, yes, but their ship designs have flaws. Captain Day was right about the energy leaks. Hana looked out the window at Earth, beautiful and blue below them. They think we're just another easy conquest. They don't understand humans at all. And that, said June with a small smile, will be their biggest mistake. Back on Earth, while the world prepared for the arrival of their new rulers, secret messages went out to all military and science leaders. The public would see submission, but behind closed doors Earth was preparing. In her lab that night, Hana recorded a message. The hegemony believes they have won without a fight. They don't realize that humans are at their most dangerous when backed into a corner. Today we bow our heads, but we are already planning how to break their hold on the stars. The real battle has just begun. 1 year had passed since the galactic hegemony arrived at Earth. Tall gray towers now stood in major cities and alien ships flew through Earth's skies. To any outside eye, humans had accepted their place as a conquered people. But that was not the whole truth. Commander Tae-yoon walked through an underground tunnel, deep below what used to be Seoul. His footsteps echoed as he reached a hidden door and placed his hand on a scanner. Welcome, Commander, said a computer voice. The door opened to reveal a large room filled with people working at computers and testing equipment. This was Base 7, one of 20 secret resistance centers around the world. Report, Tae said. To his second in command, all cells are active and working, sir. Engineer Kang wants to see you right away. Tae nodded and walked to the lab section. Engineer Soo Kang was a small woman with short hair and the brightest mind in weapons development. She looked up from a strange device on her table. Commander, look at this, she said with excitement. I figured out how their shields work. Tae looked at the machine. It was part of a hegemony weapon they had secretly taken from a crashed ship. Can we break through them? He asked. Sue smiled. Better, we can make them fail completely. She pointed to a small crystal in the device. They depend on this material for all their energy systems, and it has a weakness. What kind of weakness? It reacts badly to a specific radiation pattern. A pattern we can create. Tae felt hope rise in his chest. This could be the breakthrough they needed. How soon can you make something that uses this weakness? Give me 2 months, Sue said with confidence. In space, aboard the hegemony diplomatic vessel Star Crest, Jin Choi bowed low to Overseer Krantz. Jin had been assigned as Earth's representative to the hegemony, a position that most aliens saw as merely symbolic. The reports from Earth are acceptable, Krantz said, his 4 eyes blinking in different patterns. Your people are adapting to our rule better than most species. We are honored to serve the hegemony, Jin said humbly, while his eyes carefully watched everything in the room. Every conversation was a chance to gather information. You will join us for the journey to Sector 9 tomorrow, Krantz stated. We visit 3 systems to collect tribute. Jin bowed again. Thank you for this opportunity. Later, alone in his small room, Jin took out what looked like a normal pen. He pushed a hidden button and it projected a star map on the wall. He quickly recorded the new systems he had learned about today. This will help us map their empire, he thought. Admiral Kim needs to know about the weakness in Sector 9's defenses. Jin had already discovered that many alien species in the hegemony were unhappy. Some had been conquered centuries ago and still dreamed of freedom. Humans were not alone in their desire to break free. Back on Earth, Admiral Jun Kim met Dr. Hana Park at what appeared to be a normal office building. In reality, it was another resistance center. Our friend Jin has sent new information, Jun said, showing Hana a data chip. Star maps and fleet movements. Hana looked pleased. And I have news too. I've been studying their language more deeply and I found something. She showed him her tablet. They never mention this symbol in any of their writing about war or conquest. What does it mean? Unity, Hana explained. Their entire culture is built on domination. The concept of different species working together as equals doesn't exist. For them, it's their blind spot. And blind spots can be exploited, Jun said thoughtfully. Their meeting was interrupted when Captain Day Lee entered the room. He looked tired but excited. Admiral Doctor, we've made contact with the Lilith species. They've been under hegemony control for 300 years, and they want to help us. This was big news. The Lilith were known to work as technicians on many hegemony ships. What can they offer? Jun asked. Access codes, patrol schedules, and most importantly, the location of the hegemony's central command structure. Hana's eyes widened. The place they call Starheart? We thought it was just a myth. It's real, Day confirmed. And the Lilith know where it is. Commander Tay was checking security at a resistance training center when his communication device buzzed. It was a coded message. Visitors increasing, caution advised. He frowned. This meant the hegemony was sending more observers to Earth. They might be getting suspicious. His worry grew when he reached the main base and found Engineer Sue looking concerned. They've increased scans of our area, she said quietly. 3 times in one day. Can they detect our facility? Not yet, but we need to be careful. Tay nodded. How is the project coming? Sue's face brightened despite her worry. Actually, better than expected. I call it the Nova Cascade. She showed him a small, innocent-looking device. This could trigger a chain reaction in a star's outer layers. You mean, yes? If placed near a star with the right properties, it could cause the star to release a massive burst of energy, like a controlled nova. Tay stared at the device. It looked so small to have such power. This could destroy entire systems. Only those with the right type of stars, Sue clarified. And only if we want it to. It can be adjusted to create smaller bursts too, enough to disable ships without destroying planets. The implications were enormous. With this technology, humanity might have a chance against the vast hegemony fleet. Jin Choi stood by a window on the hegemony ship, watching stars streak by. His mind was racing with what he had just overheard. High-ranking hegemony officers had been discussing Earth, calling it a potential problem. They were planning to increase their military presence there. They suspect something, Jin thought. We need to move faster. He needed to warn Earth, but communication was risky. He would have to wait until they returned from this diplomatic mission. As Jin stared out at the stars, he noticed a small maintenance worker from the Lilith species watching him. The alien made a subtle hand gesture that Jin recognized from Captain Day's briefing. It was a resistance signal. Jin nodded slightly in response. We are not alone in this fight, he thought. The hegemony has ruled through fear for too long, and now that fear is turning against them. On Earth, Admiral Kim received the final report from Engineer Sue about the Nova Cascade. The technology worked. Now they needed a plan to use it. In his private office, he opened a secure line to all resistance leaders around the world. The time for hiding is almost over, he told them. Soon we show the hegemony that humans do not accept chains no matter how they are disguised. He looked at an old Earth map on his wall, now marked with hegemony base locations. They think they own us. They think we are weak. But they will learn that humanity-denied submission will reduce their empire's stars to cinders. Outside his window, a hegemony patrol ship flew by, its lights reflecting off the glass. The real war was about to begin. General Sun Kim stood before a large screen showing Earth and its space around it. Red dots marked hegemony bases and ships. There were many red dots. Today we take back our home, Sun said to the room full of military leaders. They had gathered in the deepest underground base, 10 miles below the old city of Osaka. Admiral Jun Kim nodded to his brother. All units are ready, General. Then we begin Operation Sunfall now, Sun ordered. Around the room, officers sent coded signals to their teams across Earth and space. After 18 months of planning, humanity was making its move. Captain Min Ryu sat in the command chair of the stealth ship Thunderbolt. His ship looked like a small hegemony supply vessel from the outside, but inside it was Earth's most advanced warship. All systems ready, Captain, his pilot reported. Stealth field is holding. Min nodded. Take us past the Jupiter checkpoint. Standard speed. The Thunderbolt moved smoothly through space. They passed a hegemony patrol ship, but the aliens didn't notice anything unusual. Min's ship was carrying 5 Nova Cascade devices, each one looking like a small metal ball. Min checked the mission plan again. Their target was the hegemony stronghold in the Proxima system, 12 light-years from Earth. It had a star with the right properties for the Nova Cascade. Once we drop the devices, we have 30 minutes to get clear, Min reminded his crew. This will be close. Back on Earth, the first attacks began. At exactly the same time, humans hit every hegemony base on the planet. They had been planning this for months, with each team knowing exactly what to do. Lieutenant G. Park led her special team against the main hegemony tower in what used to be Hong Kong. They wore suits that blocked the aliens' scanners. Remember, aim for the power systems first, G told her team through their comm system. Then the communication center. They moved quickly through the tower's lower levels. When they reached the power room, they placed special devices on the main controls. The devices sent out the specific radiation pattern that Engineer Su had discovered, the one that disrupted hegemony technology. The effect was immediate. Lights flickered, doors stopped working, and alarms went silent. Phase 1 complete, G reported, moving to Phase 2. In space, the hegemony was shocked by the sudden attacks. High Commander Vex watched in anger as reports came in from Earth. How is this possible? He shouted at his officers. They are just humans. They surrendered. Sir, we've lost contact with all Earth bases, an officer reported. And our fleet in Earth orbit is under heavy attack. Vex couldn't believe what he was hearing. The humans had seemed so obedient, so weak. How could they be fighting back now with weapons that somehow knew the hegemony's weaknesses? Send the reserve fleet from Mars, Vex ordered. Crush this rebellion, immediately. But as he gave the order, more alarms sounded. Sir, we've lost contact with the Proxima base. Captain Min's mission had worked perfectly. The Nova Cascade devices had been placed around Proxima's star, and now the star was releasing a massive burst of energy. Not enough to destroy it, but enough to create a wave of radiation that disabled every hegemony ship in the system. All targets neutralized, Min reported back to Earth as the Thunderbolt raced away from the energy wave. Proxima system is clear. Similar reports were coming in from other secret missions. Humanity had hidden small ships throughout nearby space, and now they were all attacking at once. Some carried Nova Cascade devices for stars. Others targeted hegemony ships directly. Lieutenant G's team reached the top of the Hong Kong Tower. They fought through the few remaining hegemony guards with weapons designed by Engineer Su. The weapons fired bursts of the same radiation that disrupted hegemony technology, making the aliens' armor useless. In the main control room, G found what they were looking for, the central communication hub that connected Earth to the hegemony network. Begin download, she ordered. Her tech specialist connected their systems to the hegemony computers. They weren't destroying this technology, they were taking it. We're in, the specialist said, downloading their full database, star maps, fleet positions, security codes, everything. G smiled. Send it all to General Kim. General Sun Kim was receiving reports from around the world. The first phase of the attack had gone well. Most hegemony bases on Earth were now under human control. The aliens had been caught completely by surprise. What about the people who helped us? Sun asked. The other species? Admiral June checked his screen. The Lilith have taken control of 12 hegemony ships. The Voltar resistance has risen up on 3 planets. It's happening everywhere, brother. Sun nodded with satisfaction. After so long pretending to be defeated, it felt good to fight back. But he knew this was just the beginning. The hegemony still had vast forces in other systems. And Captain Min's mission? Sun asked. Complete success, June replied. The Nova Cascade worked exactly as Engineer Su designed. The Proxima system is liberated. Then we move to Phase 2, Sun decided. Tell all ships to target the hegemony command vessels. In space far from Earth, High Commander Vex was now truly afraid. Reports of attacks were coming from all directions. The humans weren't just fighting on Earth. They were hitting hegemony, bases across multiple star systems. How did they build this many ships, he demanded. How did they plan this? An officer looked up from his screen with a pale face. Sir, it's not just the humans. The Lilith, the Voltar, the Nessic, they're all rising against us. And they're using our own communication network to coordinate. Vex slammed his fist on his command chair. This is not possible. These are primitive species. But the evidence was clear on every screen around him. The primitive species had somehow united and found a way to turn the hegemony's technology against itself. Sir, another officer called urgently. The humans have deployed some kind of new weapon. It's affecting stars. Images showed the Proxima star pulsing with strange energy. The radiation had disabled every hegemony ship in the system. Vex made a decision. Order all available forces to Earth. We will crush the heart of this rebellion. Prepare my command. Ship. Lieutenant G. Park stood on the roof of the hegemony tower, now under human control. She looked up at the sky, where flashes of light showed battles happening in orbit. Her comm device activated. Lieutenant, this is General Kim. We've received your data. Good work. Thank you, sir, G replied. What's our next move? The hegemony is sending everything they have left toward Earth, the general said. They think if they can beat us here, the rebellion will fall apart. They don't understand us at all, do they? G said with a small smile. No, they don't, General Kim agreed. And that will be their final mistake. Stand by for new orders. The real battle is about to begin. G looked up again at the sky where Earth ships were now visible, fighting alongside. Vessels piloted by other species who had joined the rebellion. After nearly 2 years of pretending to be defeated, humanity was showing its true strength, and the stars of the hegemony's empire were starting to burn in a very different way. President Yoon Cho stood in Earth's main defense center, watching the large screen that showed space around their planet. Hundreds of red dots were moving toward Earth, the hegemony's final attack force. They're throwing everything they have. At us, Admiral June Kim said, standing beside her. President Yoon nodded calmly. As we expected. Are our defenses ready? Yes, Madam President. All shield generators are active. For 2 years, while pretending to obey the hegemony, humans had secretly built powerful defense systems. Now large shield generators around the Yao planet turned on, creating a protective barrier in Earth's atmosphere. And our fleet? Yoon asked. In position, June replied. Captain Dae Lee is leading the main force. Captain Min Ryu's ships are waiting in stealth mode behind Mars. President Yoon looked at her old friend. Then it's time for your part, Admiral. June bowed slightly. It will be my honor. High Commander Vex stood on his massive command ship as it approached Earth. Behind him came the largest fleet the hegemony had ever sent against a single planet. They cannot stand against this force, Vex told his officers. Once we crush Earth, the other rebellions will fall apart. Sir, an officer called out, we're detecting energy buildup around the planet. They're pathetic defenses, Vex said with a laugh. Nothing can stop us now. But as the hegemony fleet came closer, something unexpected happened. Earth seemed to glow with a blue light, and when the first hegemony ships fired their weapons, the shots hit an invisible wall. "What is this?" Vex demanded. His science officer looked worried. "They've created a planetary shield, and it's using our own technology, but improved." "Impossible," Vex shouted, but he could see it working with his own 4 eyes. Admiral June. Kim's ship, the Eagle Fist, led Earth's defense fleet out from behind the shield. The ship was Earth's newest and best warship, built using everything they had learned from hegemony technology. "All ships, attack pattern Omega," June ordered. "Remember your training, hit their weak points." Earth's ships moved in perfect formation. They were fewer than the hegemony's forces, but they had 2 big advantages. They knew the enemy's weaknesses, and they had allies. As the battle began, more ships appeared from different directions. The Lilith came from the north with 50 ships. The Voltar arrived from the south with 30 more. And from behind Mars, Captain Min's stealth fleet revealed itself. The hegemony was surrounded. On Earth, Dr. Hannah Park worked at the main communication center. For 2 years, she had studied hegemony technology and language. Now she was using that knowledge to coordinate with all the rebelling species. "Lilith fleet, target the command ship's left side," she directed. "Voltar forces, focus on the support vessels." Her team sent messages in different languages to all their allies. The hegemony had ruled by keeping species apart, but now those same species were working together. "Dr. Park," a young assistant called out, "we're getting a message from the far colonies. 3 more systems have joined the rebellion." Hannah smiled. "Send them our battle plans and coordinates." In space, the fight was fierce. The hegemony had many ships, but Earth and its allies were fighting smarter. They targeted the aliens' weak points and used the special radiation pattern that disrupted their technology. High Commander Vex watched in horror as his fleet took heavy damage. "This cannot be happening," he said through clenched teeth. "How are they doing this?" "Sir," his second-in-command said quietly. "Perhaps we should retreat and regroup." "Never!" Vex shouted. "I will not be defeated by primitives." He ordered his command ship to push forward, aiming for Earth itself. If he could break through the shield at just one point, he could still win. President Yoon watched the battle from Earth's defense center. She saw Vex's command ship coming straight for them. "They're trying to break through Sector 7, an officer reported. Yoon looked at General Sun Kim. "Is it time?" The general nodded grimly. "Yes, Madam President, we need to use our final option." Yoon took a deep breath. What they were about to do would change everything. "Send the signal to Admiral Kim." In space, Admiral June received the message from Earth. He opened a secure channel to all Allied ships. "All forces, pull back to safe distance," he ordered. "Operation Solar Flare is now active." As the Earth ships and their allies moved away from the main battle, June's second-in-command looked worried. "Sir, are we really going to use the Nova Cascade against their home system?" June's face was serious. "Not to destroy it, just to show what we could do." He pressed a button on his command panel. Across space, near the hegemony's homestar, special devices activated. They had been placed there secretly by stealth ships weeks ago. High Commander Vex was still trying to break through Earth's defenses when an urgent message came from his home world. "Sir, something is happening to our sun." The screen showed their homestar pulsing with strange energy. The same energy they had seen at Proxima. But this time it was just a small pulse. A warning. Another message appeared on his screen. It was Admiral June Kim. "High Commander Vex," June said calmly. "As you can see, we have placed Nova Cascade devices around your home star. We could trigger a full reaction at any time." Vex's 4 eyes widened in shock. "You would destroy an entire system? Billions of lives?" "No," June replied. "Unlike you, we don't destroy worlds. This is a demonstration only. But now you know we could, if forced to." Vex looked at the screen showing his damaged fleet, the unexpected shield around Earth, and the allies fighting alongside humans. For the first time in his long life, he felt true fear. "What do you want?" he asked, his voice much quieter now. "Your surrender," June said simply. And then we talk peace. 3 days later, President Yoon Cho stood in a large meeting room on the neutral space station where, 2 years ago, Earth had pretended to surrender. Now the tables were turned. Emperor Zorath himself, supreme ruler of the hegemony, sat across from her. He was older than Vex, with gray skin that had turned almost white with age. For 10,000 years, the hegemony has ruled the stars, Zorath said, his voice tired. No species has ever done what yours has done. We did not do it alone, President Yoon reminded him. Every species you conquered helped us. Dr. Hannah Park, sitting beside the president, spoke up. Your empire was built on fear and force. That's why it fell so quickly when challenged. Emperor Zorath looked at the humans with his ancient eyes. What now? Will you become the new rulers? No. President, Yoon said firmly. We propose a galactic council where all species have equal voice. No rulers, no subjects. The Emperor seemed confused by this idea. Equal, but some must always rule over others. That is the way of the universe. Not anymore, Yoon said. 1 month later, Admiral Jun Kim and Dr. Hannah Park stood on the observation deck of Earth's new space station. Below them, their planet looked peaceful and blue. The Lilith delegation arrives tomorrow, Hannah said. The Voltar and Nessic next week. The council is really happening. June nodded. And the hegemony? Still adjusting, Hannah said with a small smile. Equality is a new concept for them, but they're learning. They looked out at the stars. In just 2 years, everything had changed. Humanity had faced extinction, pretended to submit, learned their enemies' weaknesses, built new weapons, found allies, and finally won freedom not just for Earth, but for hundreds of worlds. Do you think we did the right thing? June asked quietly. With the Nova Cascade, we could have destroyed their whole system. But we didn't, Hannah reminded him. That's what makes us different from them. We could have reduced their empire to cinders, but instead we're building something new together. A small ship passed by the window, piloted by a Lilith crew member who waved at them. Besides, Hannah added, I like this new galaxy much better. June smiled. So do I. Above them, the stars shined brightly in the darkness, not as symbols of an empire's power, but as beacons of possibility for all species who now looked up at them as equals.